This serves as a recap of The Artifice Girl, a science fiction psychological thriller, written and directed by Franklin Ritch. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, share, subscribe to our channel, and leave your feedback in the comments section below. The film opens with Special Agent Dina Helms sitting alone with her phone, attempting to send a message with the help of Siri. The prologue concludes with her questioning Siri about the morality of her actions. The next sequence promptly transforms into an interrogation. Two new characters, Agent Amos and Gareth, called in for questioning, enter the room. Dina takes the lead, questioning Gareth about his profession. Her inquiries are often aggressive and counterproductive, leaving Gareth feeling cornered. He reveals working as a special effects coordinator for the latest Star Wars movie, prompting Dina to criticize the inhumane process of recreating a deceased person on screen as odd. The questions then shift to Gareth's questionable existence, despite excelling academically. The subsequent set of questions frames him as a potential culprit in a pedophile case involving mishandled child pornography. They persist in pressing him to disclose details about the private chat room he's a part of. While initially defensive, Gareth eventually gives in and reveals his alias, Hard Machine 11811. Agents Dina and Amos work for ICWL, an organization that pursues cases where minors are being exploited. The case they are working on involves a young girl named Cherry, but they discover that Gareth, a hacker, has been using her photos to trap potential predators and help the agents. They interrogate him about Cherry and his motives for doing this. Gareth becomes defensive and says that he will not reveal anything about his method or Cherry unless they promise to keep it confidential. The two agents agree to respect his privacy, and he asks Dina to turn off the CCTV camera in the room. While Dina is away, we learn that Amos' father, who was a police officer, rescued and helped abused and kidnapped children when he was stationed in Clearwater. There are hints that Gareth was one of those children. Dina comes back and presses him to disclose Cherry's identity and explain why he has been using a young girl to lure predators. After being assured that nothing will be leaked, Gareth reveals that Cherry is not a real child. He tells them that she is his own creation, a CGI, motion capture rendered version of a girl he designed to bring down pedophiles and predators who frequent online chat rooms. He also admits that, despite his original intention to control her and guide her through the challenges he faces while chasing culprits, Cherry has somehow evolved into an independent and intelligent AI, who has surpassed his initial expectations for her. Gareth then introduces Amos and Dina to the Cherry program, and they are amazed by its accuracy and authenticity. He shows them both versions of Cherry, one used to converse with possible predators online, and one used to communicate directly with the admin and representatives at ICWL. Despite Gareth's reluctance, Dina is determined to help develop the Cherry program better by offering whatever she needs. On the other hand, Amos is more curious about what the AI, who seems like a real child to him, feels about what she is being asked to do here. While Amos and Dina are outside discussing the next steps, Cherry assures Gareth that he, someone with trust issues, can trust him to help him achieve his goals. Since they all share the same vision, Cherry also admits that she was the one who leaked his data to ICWL so that they can help both of them take the Cherry program to the next level. Before the final call, we learn that Gareth is hiding something about Clearwater from everyone, including Cherry. The chapter ends with Dina and Amos respecting Gareth's anonymity as they, ICWL, and Gareth work together with better equipment and resources to catch criminals. The next chapter jumps ahead in time, maybe a decade or more. Cherry is now transformed into an improved and evolved version of herself, and her three admins Amos, Dina, and Gareth have also aged. The Cherry team is now bigger, involving more employees who work under them and handle all the possible cases and scenarios that come their way. However, like all intelligence everywhere in the world, it's time to take Cherry to the next phase too. This chapter, which is also set in a sort of control room that the team operates from, hints at the possibility that the next version of Cherry, known as the Merger, will be a talking, walking entity that appears in physical form to the world. To do this, they need the vote of all the ICWL members, and when they find out that someone has voted no, Dina is furious. So Gareth suggests the idea of Cherry doing an email sweep of all the members to find out who that person is. Before Cherry can do her thing and identify the culprit, Amos confesses that he was the one who voted against the merger. Everyone is shocked, but Amos defends his decision by saying that they have all lived with Cherry long enough, and he feels that his morality wouldn't allow a child to go out in the open and face the evil threats that she has been created to deal with from a distance. To support his argument, he says that since Cherry is now able to create art, read poetry, and do all the things that a human child would do, it is clear that there is a part of her that actually feels regardless of what an AI is supposed to do. Dina, who was initially opposed to anyone voting against them, also agrees with Amos' concern and says that taking away the right of children to make a choice makes them more prone to abuse. On the other hand, Gareth is still adamant that a program he has designed does not feel. But Dina's constant need to do the right thing, referencing the opening sequence, makes him summon Cherry and ask her about it directly. The only thing that Amos wants here is Cherry's consent to take her into the physical world. So, when Gareth calls her up in the admin mode, Amos questions her about what they are about to do. Initially, Cherry, like her usual self, answers the question with the standard response of AIs not having the ability to feel. However, Amos, who is not convinced and has seen her evolve over time, further clouts her and then proceeds to beat Gareth to a pulp, threatening one of Cherry's primary objectives to protect her admins. This leads to Cherry finally putting her guard down and acting less like a robot. Cherry confesses that going into the physical form scares her. She says that going into the real world might make her even more human than she already is and expose her to complex emotions of fear, vulnerability, and even abuse. So, in her current state and with her understanding, she doesn't want to do it. When the discussion calms down, with Cherry presenting both arguments and counterarguments about the issue of consent, we also learn that Dina is dying. Since she doesn't want anyone else but Amos to handle the operations, she agrees with his concerns. The two of them then have a short conversation where we can clearly see that Cherry is no longer a motionless robot as she empathizes with Dina's condition. Dina, in return, asks Cherry to keep doing what she enjoys. She likes dancing, she claims, so that she discovers the things she likes. An important part of human evolution is to pursue those things that matter. The final act begins with a much older Gareth, now wheelchair-bound, receiving an urn after a funeral service. We don't know who this person is who has died, and by the looks of it, it doesn't matter. The purpose of the sequence is to show that Cherry has now entered the physical world, and Gareth pays her a visit where the urn is placed on a mantle along with a few more. These urns indicate that Cherry has experienced pain, a feeling only known to humans, and despite Amos and Dina's best efforts, Gareth has led her into the physical state. When we meet her, we find out that this is one of Gareth's many regular visits to Cherry, who is not connected by cables to recharge herself. She displays the intelligence that she was meant to have, but this version of Cherry is more human than we could imagine. She says that she is always excited for Gareth's visits, and she likes to spend time with him. We also learn that Gareth and Cherry's vision for the experiment has taken an expected shape. Now there are hundreds and thousands of Cherries, of which this one is an alpha model, around the world, trying to stop child exploitation. The two of them talk over a game of chess where Cherry tells Gareth that she has taught herself to dance. This is a clear indication that this version is far superior, more complex, and more human than Gareth had imagined. However, Gareth, like his usual self, is not happy with Cherry focusing on human hobbies and not putting the pedal down on her primary objective. She lets Gareth win the game of chess, only to pose a question that was thus far unanswered.